I'm Claire O'Neill. I'm a CEO and co-founder of A Greener Future. So A Greener Future started 18 years ago to work on festivals and in more recent years, arenas, tours, sports events, all different types of events towards sustainability. And that's environmental, social, and we work in certification, training, consultancy, net zero strategies, and then delivering results on the ground as well. So for example, we might be working with events in order to implement renewable energy systems or putting events onto the grid with a company called Grid Fairies. That's to get them off diesel generators. We've been working on waste management procedures to try and increase composting or recycling, getting people onto vegan menus and reducing the impact of food. We've also done a carbon labelling system, for example, with events where they can look at how much carbon impact each dish has to try and nudge behaviours to make better decisions. And then we also do the Green Events and Innovations Conference, which has been to help events to network and find solutions basically for all of the problems that we have, whether those are in relation to EDI or, like I said, waste, power, transport, water. We're quite excited to be working on an event that's coming up soon, Massive Attack Act 1.5 Climate Action Accelerator, it's called, and that is pulling out all of the stops to try and be the lowest carbon event that's that size that's happened before. So we're checking all of the different data points on that and kind of putting our necks on the line a little bit to see how far we can go. When we recommend to events, we look at how are you actually programming, what percentage of your lineup is local, and then when you do have artists travelling, are they already on tour? How are they travelling? Are you encouraging rail travel wherever you can? Again, to give another example, Massive Attack at the moment are doing their European tour by train, and this is something that you have to really start to nudge people's behaviours and preconceptions because they're used to not travelling that way, a lot of the road crew, for example, and so people think that it's going to be less reliable. I was actually 90 minutes late here today because I came by train, but don't take that as a usual example. It's not normally like that. It could have been a late plane too. But yeah, so it does apply to the artists. And I think that also comes into when we have exclusivity deals. How are our deal structures as an industry influencing where artists even can play on their tour? And are we making sure that we facilitate it so that there's less audience travel and lower impact artist travel? Some artists would be like, do one, I'm taking my private jet, Yeah. And other artists are totally behind it and actually trying to push and change things. So it's really varied, and I think it's the same with all individuals as well. There's a lot of initiatives that we do that impact the audiences, and some people are totally like, we want you to do more, we really want to get behind this and we want to be part of a green transition, and others are like, don't mess with my beef burger. So it's quite a mixed bag. But what we need to do is just keep on showing that actually it is possible, and that the things that we need to do to stop poisoning our water, depleting our land, depleting biodiversity and polluting the air, the things we need to do that are possible, and they can be so much more fun and actually the better, more interesting choice. And then where there isn't that option and it isn't the better, easier thing, then we need to work with other sectors to make that the case. So whether that's rail networks, for example, with different nations, with different local authorities, other sectors, whether that's energy, transport, food, because we don't have a choice, actually. We have to change the way we're doing things. And so we just need to find the best way to do it, to bring everybody along, be them a headline artist or a punter. I came last year, and so I knew of it. I actually knew of it 2 years ago. It was my colleague Jamal Chalabi came and spoke with Kathy Runkerman from Earth%, and then Kathy invited me here last year as well. So it's been on my radar for the last couple of years, and I was really happy to be able to come back again as well, because I think that there's a lot of solutions to be found through the technical wizardry that can be found within these walls, which is sometimes lacking from a sustainability arena. So and equally, the sustainability discussion isn't so interspersed in the technical world as it is in some other arenas that I might be in. So it's really good to come down here. What the panel did that I was just on was made me realise that some of the solutions that I feel need to arrive are already landing. And this is that kind of interconnection between different systems within the live ecosystem. And that might be a payment system, for example, with an accreditation system, with a CO2 analysis and biodiversity impact assessment tool. These things are starting to come together finally. And I think we'll see more and more of that over the coming years as people are realising the opportunity. And now we've just got a couple more green governments in who are at least not directly opposing the green transition. And so I think that there'll be more and more people moving into this space very soon.